All right, today we are diving deep into one of the biggest crypto stories of the year. It's this massive deal that's sitting right at the crossroads of media, politics, and tech. And trust me, the shockwaves from this are creating a brand new playground for traders. Okay, let's get into it. This whole thing really just boils down to this one simple question. And this isn't some thought experiment either. It's happening right now, in real time. And it all kicked off with an announcement that just made everyone's jaw hit the floor. So, let's start where it all began, the deal itself. And I gotta say, this was not just another crypto partnership announcement. The scale of this thing is on a whole other planet. And this is the number that made everyone stop what they were doing. $6.4 billion. A number that big just forces you to pay attention and ask, what on earth is going on here? So let's break down what's actually inside this massive strategy. Okay, so what's really fascinating is how this whole thing is put together. You've got the big players at the table: Trump Media, the crypto exchange giant Crypto.com, and Yorkville Advisors. And their goal? It's pretty ambitious. They want to make CRO, that's the Chronos blockchain token, the official currency for TMTG's entire media empire. And they're not messing around. They're backing this with some serious firepower. $1 billion in CRO tokens, over $400 million in cash and warrants, and a massive $5 billion line of credit. And check out this quote from Trump Media, because it perfectly sums up their public angle on this. They're framing this as more than just a money move. For them, it's a foundational piece for building an independent digital economy. And the key word there is freedom. They're tying the token's identity directly into their brand's core message. Now, when you drop an announcement that big, you'd better believe the market is going to react. And that is exactly what happened. This is the moment CRO basically transformed overnight from just another utility token into something, well, something much, much bigger. And that explosion of interest, it was immediate. I mean, look at this. Before the announcement, CRO's trading volume was, pretty quiet. But after, it just went completely vertical. We're talking a monumental flood of activity as the entire market just scrambled to get a piece of the action. The price action was just as wild, a 160% surge in just 2 days. That kind of move doesn't just make headlines, it fundamentally rewrites the entire story and perception around a coin. So here's the key takeaway. This wasn't just a random pump. It was a strategic repositioning. See, CRO was mostly seen as an exchange token, something you use to get discounts on Crypto.com. But now, it's being sold as a politicized utility coin. That means it's baked right into a platform's business model, and it carries this powerful cultural story with it. That, my friends, is a whole new ballgame. Now, you know what happens when you get this crazy mix of a hot narrative, tons of money, and massive public attention, right? One thing almost always follows: the meme coins. And of course, traders were paying very close attention. I mean, we've seen this movie before, haven't we? Elon Musk's tweets created an entire universe around Dogecoin. Coinbase launched its own blockchain, and suddenly a frenzy of base meme coins appeared. So now, the market is betting that this powerful combo of TMTG and Crypto.com is going to do the exact same thing for meme coins built on the CRO chain. So why is this so juicy for traders? Well, first, it's a brand new story on a relatively fresh chain, which means way less competition than on crowded places like Ethereum or Solana. Second, you have big names involved, which creates sticky interest from everyday investors. They're more likely to hang around. And finally, it's the classic high-risk, high-reward play. The chance to find those hidden gems early, before they go to the moon. But here's the catch. There's always a catch, right? Just because the opportunity is there doesn't mean it's easy to get to. In fact, for a lot of traders, there was a pretty big technical wall standing right in their way. So here's the problem in a nutshell. If you were using some of the world's biggest crypto exchanges, you couldn't just buy CRO and send it over to the Chronos chain to start trading meme coins. This kind of friction is a huge roadblock when capital needs to move fast. So that meant traders had to go through this super clunky multi-step process. You'd have to find a specific exchange that actually let you withdraw, send the tokens to a totally separate wallet, then manually connect that wallet to a decentralized exchange on the CRO chain. It's slow, it's complicated, and honestly, it's full of ways to mess things up. So, the problem was obvious. But you know how crypto works? The market moves at light speed, and where there's a problem, a solution isn't far behind. This brings us to the playbook that smart traders started to use, which covers both the short-term fix and the long-term vision. And that's where, according to the source material, aggregators like Aave.ai came into play. Instead of that clunky old process, traders could now just swap directly from a major currency like ETH right onto the CRO chain. This lets them bridge over seamlessly, get instant access to trading dashboards, and track all the critical data like whale moves, all without those frustrating detours. So what's the actionable playbook that came out of all this? First, get your hands on CRO fast using these new tools. Second, use data dashboards to spot those early movers. Third, you gotta be quick because this whole shift is happening right now. And finally, and this is probably the most important part, you have to understand the bigger picture here. This isn't just about one token or one personality. It's about the potential growth of an entire platform, a treasury, and a social ecosystem. And looking ahead, well, the stakes are pretty high. The analysts mentioned in the source material see a potential path for CRO to hit $1 by 2030. But, and this is a big but, the driver for that isn't just hype. It all depends on successful, real-world integration and the actual growth of the ecosystem they're trying to build.
Which, of course, leaves us with the ultimate question. Are we watching the birth of a powerful new model for digital economies, built around these super strong cultural narratives? Or is this just the crypto market's next great high-stakes gamble?